holiday season can be joyous for a lot of people, but for the winter and fall months, it may not be cheerful for some. And this December, we're talking about a condition that the CDC says affects millions of Americans. It's called Seasonal Affective Disorder, otherwise known as SAD. And joining me now is the co-founder of the Wellness Studio, Dr. Katie Fetzer. Good morning.
Good morning, Sydney. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. So a lot goes into SAD, which affects a lot of people more than we know. And sometimes you don't even know that you're dealing with it. So my first question for you would be, when does this usually occur? I know a lot of it is associated with the seasons, and some of it has to do with time and cold.
Absolutely, yeah. So seasonal affective disorder, otherwise known as seasonal depression, occurs mostly in the fall and the winter months when the daylight is not being produced as much. The days are kind of shorter, and it's usually around those times that people will experience the symptoms of it.
And then now we have cold temperatures. We haven't recently, but that typically kind of plays a role because people want to stay inside more. So my question for you is, how can people even know that they're dealing with SAD themselves?
Sure, yeah. I think first is just being aware of it. So the awareness of it can be incredibly helpful. And being able to go, and if you just start noticing when you're checking in with yourself, you're noticing you're not feeling yourself or some things seem off, to be able to go and just speak with your doctor about it or speak with a mental health professional about it, because there's a lot of things that they can do to be able to help you kind of get out of that and manage and cope better.
Now, when are there any particular signs like sleeping more or maybe disassociating from your people you normally are around? Or anything?
Yes, absolutely. So the seasonal affective disorder is a specific type of depression, and it occurs during those fall and the winter months. The main symptoms that occur are sadness being kind of the prominent one, but you might also notice changes in your behavior, a tendency to want to withdraw more, some more social isolation, maybe feeling fatigued, maybe a change in appetite and change in sleep patterns. And those things can start to happen around those fall and winter months. There's some science behind it too as well, in which the daylight is the less daylight hours in the day and lack of sunlight can interfere with our serotonin production.
Now we're getting closer to Christmas. We just had Thanksgiving, and then we have New Year's, all times where people typically gather, and that can bring a lot of anxiety for people. And you know, sometimes you think being around family is all fun, but for some it may not be, or it may bring those feelings. So talk about, you know, how to cope being in family gatherings in those big settings.
Absolutely. So one of the biggest things is being able to take a step back and remember and separate out what you can control and what you can't control, and facing the reality of your life and the situation, because every year is going to look different for every individual. And so we really have to be able to take an honest reflection at ourselves and our lives, and then adjust accordingly, adjust our expectations, and know that holidays sometimes may mean not going to a certain household that you used to go to, or not being able to afford those travel plans, or just making adjustments here and there, and really adjusting our expectations can be incredibly helpful.
So you mentioned a couple of things. Boundaries is what it sounds like, setting boundaries for yourself. And then you also mentioned money. Really quick, you talk about buying gifts or activities and how your finances can play a role.
Absolutely, yeah. We like to be able to, especially in my office when working with people, is to bring things back to the meaning for an individual. What do the holidays mean to them? What is the meaning that they want to stay close to during that time? And a lot of times money is not a factor in that. It can just be spending time with someone, writing letters, making a fun game with your family where maybe it's a pick three game where there's one thing that you pick to give away to somebody, one thing you receive, one thing that's involving learning. So there's different things that you can do, but really staying close to the actual meaning of the holidays can be incredibly, incredibly fulfilling.
And we have to go, but really quickly, if you notice your family member or a friend is dealing with SAD throughout the holidays, what can you do to help them?
Absolutely. I think being able to just walk up to them saying, hey, I love you, I'm here for you, and I care for you. Is there anything that you want to talk about with me? And I'm somebody that can be here to help you if you need me.
Perfect. Great information. Thank you so much, Katie.
Yeah, absolutely.
You always bring great information. We will have some more tips for you on our website at brproud.com. Stay right there. We have more news and weather after the break.